everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good very early in the morning. Welcome all to joining me for the UBC International MBA Program's introduction session. So my name is Weiyan. I am the IMBA Recruitment and Admissions Manager. I'm right now speaking to you from Shanghai. So that's why it's really early mornings. Okay, so what's going to happen for the next 20-30 minutes is that I will take you through some of the features and background of the UBC International MBA program, as well as sharing with you some information about our recent upcoming entry for the year 2022. So, are you ready? All right, and thank you again. We set you up for success, and it's up to you to redefine it. And this is a quote I really love from Sauder. So the IMBA program is part of UBC's IHL's offering of a master's program. And worthwhile to mention that we are the only MBA program, well, actually the only program within the Sauder group of programs that is being offered by UBC faculty, but it's outside of Vancouver, outside of Sauder. So we are here based in Shanghai. So to talk a little bit about Shanghai and the location where the program is being offered, I call it a city of possibilities. This is my hometown, but also it is a city very welcoming to talents of all backgrounds. It's global, yet very inclusive. So Shanghai is the city with the most global regional headquarters set in China by multinational companies. For talents that is coming from abroad or has had experience living and working abroad, the government offers favorable policies for settling down. So it is also the economic heart of the country. It counts towards, it's always in the leading position, number one position in terms of GDP for China. Most companies, if they're setting headquarters, regional headquarters in China, and that will be in Shanghai. The picture in the background is set, an overlooking view on the Puxi and on the west side of the riverbank and east side of riverbank. With on the east side where you can see the picture of the tower, it is actually the financial district of Shanghai, as well as for China, essentially. So let's take you through some of the background information about how the MBA program is set. I call it West meets East. So the International MBA program is a partnership program between UBC Sauder School of Business and Shanghai Jiao Tong University's Alumni College of Economics and Management. Both schools are respected with equal standing in countries respectively. So for Sauder, we have in consecutive years ranked number one for business and economics subject for Times Higher Education. UBC is has ranked the 19th in the world in terms of public university reputations. Alumni School of Economics and Management has been offering to Chinese audience one of the top 3 MBA programs in China. And the history of the two schools goes back to the 1980s. So back then, a lot of Chinese academics were going to Canada for their further education. And currently, many professors as well as leadership team within Chinese business schools has had PhD education at UBC with Sauder. So the history tie goes way back. And the program itself was established in 2002. So to this date, it has been 20 years of history. So in terms of accreditation, both schools have been very well accredited and respected in both countries as well as internationally. Having the partnership in China and teaching by UBC faculty, it offers our students an industry network, which means that the schools can interact very well together and within the alumni community too. So moving on, who the program is best for. So depending on where you are and what kind of background you come from, the UBC MBA program is a part-time program, which means when students are studying, they have already had their residential status in China most of the time, or they have been planning to come back to China because of the nature of the program. It's part-time. There isn't a relocation issue usually. It means that the applicants, the students are already within the region, within the country to study. So we have noticed that the program are able to benefit one of the following categories. The first one would be those who have this inspiration. When they graduated, they have been clear that they wanted an international education. So this aspiration to study abroad and having the mindset broadened through different aspects of culture and concepts are deep within this category of people, those aspiring for global education. And the second one have been those who are basically progressing really, really well in their career. And one of the key things that they want to do in terms of blending in the knowledge and practice together is an MBA education. But in the meantime, the cost of taking a career break would be not the best option for them at the time. So senior executives doing really well for the program on their jobs, but hoping to study without a career break would benefit a lot from an international MBA, part-time international MBA like ours. And the third group of people that we have noticed are those international talents working with some of the multinational companies in China, in Shanghai, and hoping to be assured of getting a quality education by a renowned international university. And this category of people are oftentimes foreign nationals who are based in China, working and living in China. So the fourth category we have noticed are those students who have studied abroad and people who have lived abroad but returning to China because of prospect for a career, because of the status of growth for the economy, they have chosen to come back to China to work and to live. So altogether, these profile of candidates have been able to benefit the most from the IMBA program. And essentially, the nature of the program that is part-time, it's taught by UBC faculty. It is able to blend in the practical knowledge as well as the practical experience as well as the theoretical approach. Blending in helps the four categories of people to make the most out of their education. So let's move on. Reasons to choose UBC IMBA in China, in Shanghai. So as I mentioned earlier, it is a part-time program. What that means is if the students start to work on the program, they will be studying during the weekend. Oftentimes it is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, once in a month. And that means while you learn during the weekend, you're able to apply what you have learned and gaining the practical knowledge from the case studies you have worked on, discussed with your colleagues, being able to apply those directly during your day, back in work, during your work, back during the week. Oh my God. So time effectiveness, saving you time to taking a career break and being able to apply that knowledge very quickly is one of the first features. And moving on, the program itself is taught by UBC faculty, and Sauder School of Business has been renowned for offering quality education. We are the #1 school in Canada for business and economics subjects. And for consecutive years, we are offering some of the most influential programs and within, so thought leadership, interacting and learning from the top faculty, industry leaders, as well as researchers is what UBC IMBA also offers to the IMBA students. So the third aspect is global. What global, in addition to be taught by a UBC faculty, bringing in different knowledge from professors with various background, learning from students who are different in background as you are. The other two things is that students have opportunity to study abroad. And by that, in addition to one of the key features of the program is we have 2 weeks study in Vancouver, and that brings the Chinese student as well as the Vancouver-based students together. And in addition to that, we have study abroad weeks, as well as opportunities to learn from the global network for advanced management. If you have been joining my colleague Alina for the global network, global learning part of our virtual open house, then you would have been able to know more about the global aspect of the program. So we are in a network of over 30 universities, top schools, with schools coming from different backgrounds in the West, in the East, in Asia, in Africa even. So the network of universities are able to offer their own courses to students from partner universities. So as a student with UBC on the IMBA program, you would have the same access to those who are being based in Vancouver and those who are learning on the global network, in the global network community. So that's what we mean by global perspective. Studying with professors, colleagues, and being able to study in Vancouver, going on study abroad weeks, as well as studying in global global network for advanced management. So in addition to being global, it is also very relevant locally, because you imagine if you are coming from abroad and a background abroad, and you are hoping to readapt to the Chinese job market. So you'll be able to connect with the peers who have had, most of the peers would have had extensive work experience in China. So you blend in with the Chinese colleagues, as well as blending in, the professors will be offering China-related case studies, because a large number of percentage of our professors work closely with companies for consulting, Chinese-based companies for consulting. So when the teaching happens, they're able to bring in different perspectives from their consulting experience. This is a quote I really love by one of our alumni, Ignacio. So Ignacio is a typical example of somebody who has has been able to take advantage of the IMBA program. Ignacio comes from Chile, and he was sent to China, to Shanghai, to establish a legal practice for his law firm in China. And he was managing the whole operation of and the setting out process. For him, it was a unique combination of North American education and being able to be based in Asia, in China, has prepared him for facing many challenges and connecting with clients as well as colleagues. So Ignacio is now called back to be posted for senior roles in his company in Chile. But his experience, he was really able to utilize what the IMBA has offered in terms of knowledge, network, and also connected with folks in Vancouver. So that was what IMBA has been able to offer him. So I think now, as we have spoken about some background information of the two schools, UBC in partnership with Shanghai Jiao Tong University, as well as who the program has been for, and some of the features of the program. Some of us would probably ask, "Oh, what's happening right now in because of COVID?" I have to say that if I have to find a word to describe the response that we have for COVID, that word will be agile, because in China, where the professors would usually come to teach once a month, the students were not been able to have that in the beginning of 2020, when in January, the COVID outbreak happened. So, but very quickly in March, we were able to respond and move the classes, move the teaching online. So what happens right now is like this picture. Professor Darren Dao was teaching on the program, and this was a screenshot I took. As you can see, there was some notes on top of Darren's, and there was some writing. This was Darren writing from a board, a glass board, and he was teaching from our UBC studio. So to the left of Darren's side, there is a little window, and that window was the slides Darren was showing. So with the technology, we can bring in simulating really a real in-person experience by being able to write on the board, showing the slides, and look at students, as we require everyone to turn their camera on. So we look at the students, interact, and trying our best to simulate that in-class learning experience. And oftentimes, Darren would call people to respond to him as well. And so that's an example of what we have been doing to move some of the teaching online. So what's been moving online would be the teaching part, where the professors deliver the academic part. And the other aspects, such as cohort activities and in-person career workshop and alumni, would still be offered to students in person. So let me explain a little. In addition to learning online, we also want to create that community experience for the cohort. So students are offered opportunities for team building. Once they join the program, we put them together for team building activities, and we connect them with past cohorts and alumni community by hosting events, social events, as well as learning events. Those learning events brings the students together as well, such as we offer, led by the Business Career Center, we offer in-person career workshop on aspects such as stress management, emotional intelligence, business etiquette, and those happen throughout the program. It is essentially what our Business Career Center were able to offer to the MBA students. So in response to COVID, we moved the classes online, yet we curate an interactive in-person experience for the students in Shanghai. Okay, so let me show you a little bit of example of some online learning or global opportunities that we have had. So early on, I mentioned Global Network for Advanced Management, and I spoke about online learning opportunities. So Eric and Gloria, they are alumni now from our class of 2021. They graduated recently, yet before they graduated, their class has experienced some of the response that we take the classes online. So while international travel was a little bit difficult, Eric and Gloria took online courses with the global network from different universities. Eric joined Hitotsubashi University in Japan, and Gloria joined a university in Italy, in Milan. So those are examples of, even though COVID started to affect our life, but our students are still making the best of opportunities and being optimistic and being resilient and still trying the best to learn from our experience. Sharing a quote from our alumni, Helen. Helen graduated in 2019, and for Helen, the MBA helped her to build up a global mindset and improved her social network. And she was able to learn systematic business knowledge. It's worthwhile to mention that Helen comes from a computer science background. She's been working with multinational companies as project management professional. So throughout the career, throughout her experience with MBA, she changed position 3 times, each with a clear progression. So if you come from a similar background and hoping to change direction or being able to fast accelerate your career, the IMBA has proven to help some of our alumni in different ways. Here is a picture of the background of our students and usual class size, average work experience, industry, and graduate studies. So this information is also available within our brochure, and you're welcome to go on to the website, our Sauder's website, and check out for the latest versions. And here we show some of the companies where our students come from. Do you identify some of them being from your own industry or even your employer? And this means that your peers are often coming from various backgrounds. Okay, now we have spoken about how we respond to COVID and some of the teaching arrangement we have given what we are dealing with, the whole world is dealing with right now. Are we ready for applications? Right, let's see. Admissions requirement. So for the IMBA program, we do require students to have a minimum of B average from their past education experience, post-secondary, meaning that your bachelor, your master's, or if any form of post-secondary tertiary education in university, you have to include that. And we do require a minimum of 2 years of work experience. And by setting that requirement, we hope that the students are able to benefit the most from the program. And we do believe when you have accumulated certain years of work experience, you contribute different perspective to the cohort and can interact better on case studies, on different various assignments. To be competitive, you have to have 7 years of experience, and on average, students have 10 to 11 years of experience. So that average means some of the students would be closer to the end, having 4 or 5 years experience, and some of our students have close to 20 years of experience. So it's a very diverse background, yet we still look for people with common values who are willing to share and to help and make each other's experience better. The third requirement is a standardized test. So GMAT or GRE are two postgraduate education tests, very common in North America. And the Chinese GRK exam qualify the same. So students who can choose to take GMAT, GRE, or the Chinese GRK test, or for professionals with education experience in science, engineering, or some business subjects, they will be able to initiate a GMAT waiver application. And once that's initiated and uploaded to your application portal and notified the admissions team, the students may be able to be assessed for GMAT waiver. And all that detailed information is also on our website. So the last thing is having an English test. It can be IELTS, TOEFL, or within our Shanghai office, we host a UBC English Language Institute test that is equivalent we have for IELTS or TOEFL. So altogether, we have 4 different admissions requirements. And of course, throughout the application process, students submit along the way. So if there's any questions you have, you're always welcome to reach out to our office regarding the admissions requirements. Key information for 2022. All right, so the early application deadline for 2022 is 19th of April, which is upcoming next week. Oh, sorry, next month. So we do have a separate deadline, which is for academic documents. We call it official documents, and that includes students' transcript in Chinese and English, if that's from a Chinese university. And for Chinese students, university graduates, we have degree certificate and graduate certificate requirements. So for those documents, in addition to the standardized test, they need to be submitted within 1 month of the respective application deadline. And the tuition, moving on to talk about, we have tuition for Canadian students and as well as for international students, because we are a public university. So Canadian students get a more accessible rate. Scholarships. We have 4 different types of scholarship. We reward people who are female leaders who can also apply for Dean's Entrance Scholarship, and the 4 different categories of scholarship has a set deadline, which is by the 19th of July. What students need to do is to submit a statement to explain why he or she thinks he can be granted a scholarship in this respective category. And again, the information for scholarships is on our website. You're welcome to check it out and reach out to us for more information. Right. UBC IMBA brings me perspective not only in business arena, but also refreshes our mind towards the world and the society. So this is a profound quote I really enjoy from Maxwell, graduated in 2019. And Max worked in consulting, market research, and he has had this experience and vision working for social enterprises. For this aligns really with the value that university and Sauder School of Business brings in, because we take very serious the rigor, the academic rigor, the respect that we have for each other, whatever the background we are, and the responsibility. We're responsible for the learning experience as well as we are responsible for the environment and circumstances of everyone that's around us. So let's end with a quote from Max. So we set you up for success, and it's up to you to redefine it. So after the introduction, after the session that we have been through, talking about the what kind of offering the IMBA is, the teaching and learning arrangement, as well as some of the recruitment policies for 2022. So if you are starting to think, is this the right time for me to start an application? You are most welcome to reach out to us. We can be reached in using the landline, as well as you can contact my email address directly. And before that, please also go through the applications or admissions details on our website. Thank you very much.